Hello friends, how are you? Today we shall study about and endocrine system. All the physiological processes in the body are closely linked and dependent upon one another. The neural or nervous system provides rapid coordination among various organs of the body. Actually, we have studied so far many systems. Now the question arises that if there are so many systems in our body, then there must be some method of coordinating between them. So this coordination is provided by nervous system. These functions are carried out by hormones. Actually, why hormones are needed, we will study about them later. Hence the neural system works with the endocrine system to communicate, integrate and coordinate the functions of various organs and systems in our body and helps the body to represent the external stimuli. What is external stimuli? Anything which is not occurring in our body, or it may occur in body but reason is something else. That is called external stimuli because it is stimulating us or our body. Now let us start our chapter, human nervous system. Human nervous system is a system which coordinates among organs and environment and amongst organs and organ systems themselves. Organ and system environment means our environment outside of the body, that is called our environment. We are talking about that environment. Besides controls the function of different organs. In humans, nervous system is divided into two types. Nervous system can be divided in two types. That is, first is central neural system, which is called CNS in short, and second is peripheral nervous system, that is called PNS in short. So central nervous system or CNS consists brain and spinal cord. It is regarded as thinker or information processor in the body. Actually, this brain work mainly controls our whole body, and it thinks also, so it is basically called the master of the body also. Peripheral nervous system, it consists of sensory and motor nerves and connects the central nervous system with the sense organs, muscles and glands of the body. So this is in central system there is brain and spinal cord, and PNS, in this there are sensory nerves and motor nerves which connect this brain and this spinal cord to the various parts of the body and organs to the body of the body. Sensory nerves. Now we have studied about here. We studied two new terms, that is sensory and motor nerves. So what are sensory nerves? These nerves contain sensory fibers. Sensory nerves bring impulse from the sense organ to the brain or the spinal cord, or for example optical nerve. Our any sense organ or our body brings stimuli to our brain through these sensory nerves. For example, these are summer days, and if we are feeling hot, we turn on the fan or cooler or AC. What told us that temperature is outside high? Our skin got warmed by the surrounding heat in the environment due to the summer. Our skin transmitted or transferred or sent that information to our brain. So, okay, it is hot outside, it is inconvenient to the body and brain, and we switched on the fan. This is the example of how impulses work. Now motor nerves. These nerves contain motor fibers. Motor nerves carry impulse from the brain or spinal cord to effector organs like muscle or gland. For example, oculomotor nerve. Just we took the example of fan. So skin took the information to the brain that okay, it is hot and we should do something. Then brain by the medium of motor nerves sent the message or direction or order to the muscles of my hand that okay, move hand and switch on fan, AC or cooler. Now this is our brain. This is how we look from the point of view of nervous system. This is our brain, this is spinal cord from here to here, and these are nerves. These are called ganglions, these are nerves. Brain is the main coordinating center of the body. It is a part of nervous system that controls and monitors every organ of the body. This is the main coordinating part. This is the main gist of this sentence. It is well protected by cranial meninges that are made up of an outer layer called dura mater and a thin middle layer called arachnoid and an inner layer called pia mater. Meninges, these are special kind of membranes which protect our brain from shocks, and even out of them there is a hard bony shell which we call head or skull. The subarachnoid part between pia mater and arachnoid part is filled with a lymph-like watery fluid, and what is its name? Cerebrospinal fluid, and short form is CSF. The ventricles of brain are also filled with CSF. Now brain can be divided into three regions. First is forebrain, middle brain and hindbrain. Forebrain, it is the main thinking part of the brain. It consists of cerebrum, thalamus and hypothalamus. Again, this forebrain is divided into three parts: cerebrum, thalamus and hypothalamus. Let us study about cerebrum first. Cerebrum is the largest and most prominent part of the brain. It constitutes about 4/5 of its weight. And to mention here, human brain is about 1.4 kg in weight. 1.4 kg. So 4/5 of this. Cerebrum is divided into two cerebral hemispheres, right and left hemisphere, by a deep longitudinal cerebral fissure, a deep depression like thing. It runs, for example, if it is brain, it is looking like this from above, then that fissure will be looking like this. Like this. Have you seen Akhroat? That Akhroat looks like brain. Cerebrum is divided into two cerebral hemispheres, right and left hemisphere, by a deep longitudinal cerebral fissure. These hemi means half, sphere means anything which is of ball shape. So hemisphere, half sphere, are joined by a tract of nerve fiber known as corpus callosum. Please memorize all of these very keenly, because these are typical terms, and being zoology, you won't find logic or steps to understand them. You have to just memorize them. So please memorize them keenly. So this tract of nerve fiber or band of nerve fiber is called corpus callosum. The corpus callosum participates in the formation of fifth ventricle or pseudocoel. Coelom means anything which is like tunnel, and pseudocoel means anything which is not coelom or not actual tunnel or cave, but it looks like a tunnel or cave. That means pseudocoelom or pseudocoelom. Each cerebral hemisphere is divided into two regions, the outer region and inner region. The outer region of cerebrum contains grey matter and is known as cerebral cortex, which contains cell bodies of the neurons. The inner region of the cerebrum contains white matter and is known as cerebral medulla, which contains nerve fibers or axons. Proper name for nerve fibers is axons of the neurons. B is thalamus. Thalamus is the main center of coordination for sensory and motor signaling. It is wrapped by cerebrum. This thalamus is wrapped by this cerebrum. It acts as a relay station for sensory and motor impulses between cerebrum and outer parts of the brain. Every impulse which is coming from outer brain to cerebrum or going from cerebrum to outer part passes through this thalamus only. So this is a relay station. Hypothalamus, it lies at the base of thalamus. Here it is hypothalamus. This is hypothalamus. This is midbrain. This is cerebrum. This is spinal cord, and these three parts are consisting hindbrain. This is the shape of diagram of brain. Please memorize it, practice it. The brain functions of hypothalamus are, what are the functions of hypothalamus? First is regulate temperature, thirst, hunger and emotions. It regulates our body temperature. It sense our thirst, hunger and emotions. Emotions is anything which we are feeling sad, happy or angry, that are called emotions. Hypothalamus regulates them. Secretes, that means releases two hormones called ADH and oxytocin. It controls pituitary gland, and pituitary gland is called master gland, let me tell you here, and controls sleep wakefulness, that means when we are sleeping, when we are waking up, food intake, blood pressure, heart rate, etc. So we can see that it is a very important part of our brain. Second is midbrain. It is located between the thalamus region of the forebrain and pons region of the hindbrain. The dorsal surface, dorsal means anything which is like this. If this resistor is putting like I am putting like this, then this is dorsal. This is dorsal and this is ventral. If I am keeping it like this, then this part is dorsal and this part is under my thumb. This is ventral. So hindbrain, it consists of midbrain. The dorsal surface of midbrain consists of superior and inferior corpora bigemina and 4 round lobes, which are called corpora quadrigemina. Quadri means 4, gemina means lobes, and bi means 2 and gemina means lobes. A canal known as cerebral aqueduct passes through the middle brain. Their anterior part, anterior means this part is called anterior, frontal part is called anterior, and back part is called posterior. So the anterior part is center of the visual reflexes and posterior pair is the center of auditory reflexes, which means anything which we see comes to the anterior part and everything which we hear reaches to posterior part of the midbrain. Hindbrain, it consists of cerebellum and brain stem, pons varoli and medulla oblongata. Brain stem includes midbrain also. Brain stem this is midbrain and this is brainstem. Cerebellum, that is called little cerebrum also. Cerebellum is a large and well developed part of the hindbrain. It is located below the posterior sides of the cerebral hemispheres and above medulla oblongata. This is medulla oblongata. It is lying upon it, and below the cerebrum part. What are the functions of cerebellum? It helps in coordination of muscular activities. It helps in maintenance of posture and equilibrium. Second part of the hindbrain is pons varoli. Pons varoli is a band of nerve fiber that lies between medulla oblongata and midbrain. It connects the lateral part of cerebellar hemispheres together. Functions: it is a bridge between two cerebral hemispheres. It helps in coordination of the activities of eye and ear. For example, if we hear something, we immediately look at that in that direction. That coordination is done by this pons varoli. It helps in equilibrium and regulation of the respiration. Equilibrium means we are standing at level. That means. Now, medulla oblongata. Medulla oblongata is the posterior and the simplest part of the brain. It is located beneath the cerebellum. Its lower end extends in the form of a spinal cord and leaves the skull through foramen magnum. Here behind our cranium, behind our head, just above our neck, lies foramen magnum. Function: it helps in regulation of respiration, heartbeat, blood pressure, circulation of blood. It means peristaltic movements, about which we have studied in digestion, etc. It is the center of salivation, vomiting, sneezing and coughing. Spinal cord. Spinal cord is a tubular structure connected with the medulla oblongata of the brain. It is situated in the neural canal of the vertebral column. Vertebral column, if you touch something bony hard on your back, just in the middle of the back, that is vertebral column. And this spinal cord lies there. It is situated in there. It is enclosed within the spinal canal of the vertebral column. Spinal cord has a central canal containing cerebrospinal fluid, CSF, the same fluid which was filled around the brain. Same cerebrospinal fluid is filled around the spinal cord. It also has outer white matter and inner grey matter, just like brain. So we can say it is an extension of brain in a way. What are the functions of spinal cord? It helps in conduction of impulses to and from the brain. It is the center of spinal reflexes. We shall study about spinal reflexes later, and it works as middleman of the impulse between brain and the body. Now let us start studying about peripheral nervous system. Peripheral nervous system includes cranial nerves and spinal nerves. PNS has two divisions. They are somatic nervous system and automatic nervous system. Now what are these? Somatic and automatic, let us see. Somatic nervous system, it releases impulses from the CNS to skeletal muscles. That means, in other words, we can control these movements. So those movements which we can control are carried out by somatic nervous system. And autonomic nervous system, it transmits impulses from CNS to the involuntary organs and muscles and smooth muscles. It includes sympathetic and parasympathetic nerves. For example, they carry the message to the muscles of the heart, which is a voluntary muscle and an involuntary muscle. Sympathetic neural system prepares body to cope with emergencies stresses and danger. For example, if some dog has attacked you, that sympathetic neural system will prepare your body for such kind of emergencies. It increases heartbeat, breathing rate, constricts arteries and elevates BP, so our muscles get ready to act at the shortest possible notice. Parasympathetic neural system returns the body to a resting state after the stressful situations and slows down heartbeat, dilates arteries, lowers BP, etc. So suppose that dog has attacked us, we started running. To prepare our body to run, sympathetic neural system work. When we escaped the dog and we got relaxed, then the parasympathetic neural system brought back our body to its normal levels. Now, what are neurons? Neuron is the structural and functional unit of the neural system. It is composed of cell body, axons and dendrites. These branches look like things are dendrites. This is called cell body from here to here, and these are synaptic knobs, and this is axon. These branches are called axons. So neuron is the structural and functional unit of the neural system, just like cell is the structural and functional unit of our body. It is composed of a cell body, axon and dendrite. Cell body, that is called cyton in the language of science. It contains nucleus, mitochondria, other cell organelles and nacelles, granules, that is granular bodies. It is mainly concerned with the maintenance and growth, contains cytoplasm and cell organelles. You can see a cell body and nucleus here. Dendrons, they are short fiber projecting from the cyton. Their sub-branches, that is dendrites, transmit impulses toward the cyton. They contain nacelle granules. Actually, any impulse comes from here like this, passes through the cell body and reaches to the axons, and from axons it is passed to the next neuron, which is lying here. Axon is the long fiber which transmits impulses away from the cell body. The branching of axon is called axonites. Each axonite ends as a bulb-like structure called synaptic knob. Please underline this, containing neurotransmitters. Axons may or may not be covered by a fatty sheath called myelin sheath. This covering is missing at intervals. These gaps in the sheath are known as nodes of Ranvier. These are myelin sheath, and these gaps are called nodes of Ranvier. Physiology of nervous system. About this and endocrine system we shall study in our next class. Thank you. Have a nice day. God bless.